Now I would like to show you how we create and manage indexes with Sausalito. So I have the Zorba website, which is locally on my machine. Let me find it quickly. So I'm going to run the project. I think so. I'm going to access. So the project documentation of Zorba works like this. They generate docbook files. We put it into a collection, and then we transform the docbook to HTML to show. So I'm going to access a page on my local machine. So. And as you can see, it's pretty big documentation, and the response is really, really slow. So that's not good. And what you want to do is to use an index to fetch the proper docbook file fast. So if I look in the source code, this is how I do it. I have on the top I have the a compounds collection declaration. This is where I'm going to put all the docbook files. And you see in this query, I'm going to scan through the whole collection of files, and I'm going to pick the page by documentation version API. So we have different APIs, C++, Java, PHP, and by ID of the documentation page. And this is the query I just executed, and you notice that it was pretty slow to access the page. So what you can do is that below my collection declaration, I can declare an index, a value equality index. So we have also, it's part of the XQuery data definition facility extension. So I'm going to declare an automatically maintained value equality index called doc_compound. Here on nodes, so here this is where you write your domain expression, which nodes you index. So here I'm going to index all collection nodes, but you can index attribute, text node, you can index any node. So here after the collection expression, you can even write XPath expression, and it's going to be used as a collection domain. But here I'm going to index all collection nodes. Here you declare your index keys, so I have 3 keys in my index by documentation version, documentation API, and by ID. And then I'm going to create a queue name that points to the queue name of my index. And to access the index, you can use probe index point, and the first parameter is the queue name of your index, and then it's a variadic function that takes as many parameters than you have declared, as many parameters than index keys that are declared. So here I have 3 index key declared, so I'm going to pass as parameter version API and ID. And so this is the old doc, and if I use maybe that's not, yeah, you see it's much faster. And yeah, any questions so far about indexes?
So if you just want to query in the first 2, like version and API, could you use the same index, or do you have to create a separate index just for 2?
Yeah, so if I want, for instance, to, yeah, you have to create a new index. If I understand the question correctly, you have to. And for instance, if you want the list of all pages, you need to create a new index on the ID of the page. So your domain is not going to be collection, but collection/ID. You can put any kind of index keys, for instance, a Boolean true, and every time you access the index, you will have basically the list of all your index keys, right? So if I index by page, and yeah.
Are the predicates, for example, bigger, smaller?
Yeah, so here it's value equality, and we have a range index, and we are working also on full text indexes. So Zorba is implementing and right now if you build, I'm going to show you a search demo later, and if you want to build an index on such, you have to do a value equality index on text, and value is the document node reference or an element. And yeah, so the idea is really to command your data management in xQuery. And then what happens, so here we use, in the cloud, we use MongoDB below as a storage. But basically what Zorba does is that you can use any kind of storage below. So we have an implementation using PostgreSQL as a storage below the store. File system, we have different kind of, some people, they built a plugin, xQuery in the browser plugin. You might have seen this 2 years ago at XML Prague. And basically, they used the Zorba, and their storage below is the DOM from the browser, Internet Explorer.